Ladies and gentlemen, there is a power within you greater than any obstacle, stronger than any fear, and mightier than any limitation the world tries to place upon you. Unlimited power is within you because you are not just flesh and bone, but a vessel of divine intelligence and spiritual energy. Every breath you take is proof that life itself is flowing through you, sustaining you, guiding you, and empowering you. Yet many live unaware of this truth, believing that strength, answers, and breakthroughs must come from outside themselves. They search in people, circumstances, and possessions for the force that will complete them, not realizing that the treasure they seek has been within them all along. To awaken to this truth is to discover that you are far more capable than your doubts have told you, far stronger than your fears have convinced you, and far greater than the limitations that have been spoken over you. This unlimited power does not come from the ego or personal will alone, but from being a channel of the infinite. Just as electricity waits in the wire until it is switched on, divine power waits within you until you choose to recognize it and release it. The switch is faith, the conductor is your word, and the current is belief. When you declare with conviction that you are guided, provided for, protected, and victorious, you open the pathway for this hidden strength to flow through your life. The world may call it coincidence, chance, or luck, but in truth it is divine order responding to the certainty you carry in your spirit. Fear and doubt are the only blocks that cover up this reservoir of power. When fear speaks, it says you are small, limited, and unworthy. When doubt whispers, it insists that miracles are for others, not for you. But these are illusions. They are like clouds covering the sun. The sun is never gone, never diminished, never weakened. It only waits for the clouds to move, so it is with you. The divine force within you has never left, it has never lessened, it is only waiting for you to remember who you are. Once you dismiss fear and rise in faith, the clouds part, and the brilliance of your true power is revealed. The evidence of this unlimited power is seen whenever you dare to speak life into a dark situation. The moment you replace complaint with command, you feel the shift. When you stop begging for change and start declaring your victory, circumstances rearrange themselves. This is not magic in the sense of fantasy. It is the natural law of spirit. The universe aligns itself with the one who knows their inner authority. The mountains that seemed immovable begin to crumble. The walls that looked impenetrable begin to fall, and the pathways that seemed hidden suddenly open wide. Unlimited power is not about control over others, nor is it about arrogance or force. It is about inner mastery, the quiet certainty that nothing can stand against the one who walks in alignment with truth. It is knowing that no matter what storm comes, you already carry the peace that calms it. It is knowing that no matter what lack appears, you already carry the seed of abundance that multiplies. It is knowing that no matter what illness threatens, you already carry the blueprint of perfect health within you. This knowing is the essence of power, and once you touch it, fear can no longer rule you. Every great breakthrough begins with one decision: to trust the power within instead of bowing to the appearance without. The outer world is only a reflection, a mirror of what has been accepted inwardly. If you wish to see a greater reality, it begins not by forcing circumstances, but by commanding from the authority of spirit. Say within yourself, I am guided by divine intelligence, I am strengthened by divine power, I am surrounded by divine protection, I am abundant, whole, and free. These words are not wishful thinking. They are keys that unlock the hidden treasure already inside you. When you finally realize this truth, you stop living as a beggar of life and start living as a creator with life. You walk with calm authority, knowing that the same power that created the stars and set the seas in motion flows through your veins. And no matter what comes, you carry the confidence that you are never alone, never empty, never weak, for the kingdom of unlimited power has always been within you, waiting to be claimed. Life responds to your declarations, not your desperation, because the universe is moved by the authority of faith, not the cries of fear. Desperation carries with it the energy of lack, of begging, of believing that power lies outside of you. When you speak from desperation, your words are tangled with doubt and uncertainty, and they fall powerless. But when you declare with conviction, you speak from a place of alignment with truth, and life has no choice but to mirror that truth back to you. This is why two people can pray for the same outcome, but one sees results and the other does not. It is not the length of the prayer, nor the volume of the plea, but the certainty behind the declaration that brings the answer into form. Desperation is a signal to the world that you do not believe you already have what you seek. It magnifies separation between you and the outcome. When you beg for healing, you reinforce the belief in sickness. When you beg for money, you affirm lack. When you beg for love, you affirm loneliness. The energy of desperation attracts more of the very condition you are trying to escape. It is like watering weeds instead of planting seeds. You focus on what is wrong, and so what is wrong expands. A declaration, however, is rooted in authority. It does not come from the energy of need, but from the knowing that what is desired is already yours in spirit, waiting to manifest. A declaration is a command that reshapes reality. When you say, "I am whole, I am provided for, I am victorious," you are not describing what you see with your eyes. You are affirming what is true in the unseen. Life responds to that vibration of certainty and begins to align circumstances, opportunities, and people to reflect it. What once seemed impossible bends under the weight of unwavering faith. Consider how the laws of nature work. The soil does not respond to the farmers begging for a harvest. The soil responds to the seed that is planted. In the same way, life does not respond to tears of desperation. It responds to the seed of a declaration. The farmer knows that once the seed is planted and cared for, the harvest is certain. He does not dig up the soil in fear, crying for the crop to appear overnight. He trusts the process, and his calm confidence is rewarded. Likewise, your words of faith are seeds, and when you speak them with authority, they must bring forth their harvest in due time. Many wonder why their prayers or affirmations seem unanswered, not realizing that behind their words was hidden fear, doubt, or desperation. They spoke with their mouth, but their heart declared otherwise. Life listens to the vibration of the heart. You cannot declare abundance outwardly while secretly believing in lack inwardly. You cannot declare peace while entertaining thoughts of worry. To declare is not only to speak, but to embody the reality of what you claim. It is to walk as though it is already done, to move as though you already carry the victory, to release the outcome and stand in confidence that the divine law never fails. The shift from desperation to declaration changes everything. Where desperation weakens, declaration strengthens. Where desperation closes doors, declaration opens them. Where desperation says, "Please let it happen," declaration says, "It is already mine." This inner authority is what causes life to respond, because you are not speaking from emptiness, but from fullness. You are not speaking from fear, but from faith, and faith is the language creation understands. So if you find yourself crying out in desperation, pause and remember who you are. Replace the trembling plea with a steady affirmation. Speak as a creator, not a beggar. Declare what you desire as though it is already yours, and watch as life begins to rearrange itself to match your conviction. For life has always responded, not to the desperation of fear, but to the bold declarations of faith. Words are creative power because every syllable you speak carries an energy that shapes the unseen and molds the visible. From the beginning of time, creation itself was spoken into existence, and the same principle is at work in your own life. What you continually declare becomes the script by which your reality unfolds. If you speak words of fear, lack, and defeat, you give life to those conditions. If you speak words of faith, abundance, and victory, you call those experiences into being. Your words are not empty sounds. They are living forces that either build or destroy, heal or wound, expand or diminish. Every thought you think seeks expression, and words are the vehicles that release those thoughts into the atmosphere. Once released, they do not vanish. They create impressions upon your mind, influence your actions, and magnetize circumstances to align with what has been spoken. This is why repeating negative words like "I can't," "I'm unlucky," or "nothing works out for me" invites more situations that reinforce those beliefs. On the other hand, when you consistently affirm "I am capable," "I am favored," and "everything is working out for my good," the invisible responds, and you begin to notice doors opening, strength rising, and solutions appearing. The difference lies in the creative charge of your words. Many underestimate the power of casual speech. They joke about failure, speak lightly of sickness, or repeatedly tell stories of struggle without realizing that these words set invisible forces in motion. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between jest and sincerity. It accepts what is spoken and begins to shape life accordingly. This is why it is said that the tongue holds the power of life and death. Words can either plant seeds of blessing or seeds of destruction, and whichever is sown will bear fruit in time. When you understand this law, you become intentional with your language. You no longer speak carelessly, but with awareness that every word is a decree. Instead of saying, "I'm always broke," you declare, "I am provided for in every season." Instead of saying, "I'm sick and tired," you affirm, "I am strong, healthy, and full of energy." Instead of saying, "I never succeed," you speak, "I am guided to success and divine favor surrounds me." These affirmations are not wishful fantasies. They are commands that align your inner world with divine truth, and life must rearrange itself to honor them. The power of words is also evident in the way they influence your emotions and actions. When you speak uplifting words, your spirit rises and you act with confidence. When you speak discouraging words, your energy drops and you act with hesitation. Your words create the emotional climate in which your destiny grows. If you want a harvest of joy, speak joy. If you want a harvest of peace, speak peace. If you want a harvest of prosperity, speak prosperity. Each declaration is a seed, and in time the harvest will reveal itself. There is also creative power in the words you speak over others. A word of encouragement can lift someone from despair, while a careless criticism can wound deeply. When you speak life into another, you not only change their atmosphere but strengthen your own, for what you send out returns multiplied. To bless others with your words is to participate in divine creation, shaping a world filled with hope and light. The discipline of mastering your speech is one of the greatest tools for transformation. It requires awareness to catch yourself before speaking in ways that contradict the life you desire. It requires practice to replace old habits of negativity with declarations of truth. But with every intentional word spoken, you are creating a new future. You are no longer a victim of chance, but a creator with choice. You are wielding the power that has always been yours, the power of the spoken word. And as you continue to speak with faith and conviction, life will echo back to you the very words you have sown. Ask ChatGPT. Faith over fear is the principle that determines whether you live in limitation or in freedom, whether you are guided by truth or held captive by illusions. Fear is the voice that tells you what cannot be done, what will go wrong, and what is impossible. It thrives on uncertainty, magnifying problems and shrinking possibilities. Fear creates paralysis, keeping you from moving forward because it convinces you that failure is inevitable, but faith is the opposing force. Faith is the voice that says, even when nothing looks certain, the outcome is secure. It whispers assurance when fear screams doubt. Faith gives courage to step forward when the path is not clear, trusting that each step will reveal itself in divine timing. Fear is built on appearances. It looks at circumstances and concludes that they are final. It sees lack and declares there is no way out. It sees sickness and insists healing cannot come. It sees obstacles and calls them walls. Faith, on the other hand, does not deny appearances, but it refuses to be ruled by them. Faith sees beyond the visible into the unseen realm where possibilities are limitless. Faith declares abundance in the face of lack, healing in the face of sickness, victory in the face of defeat. It calls forth that which is not yet visible as though it already exists, and by doing so, it shifts reality to align with truth. When you choose fear, you close yourself off from the flow of divine power. Your energy contracts, your vision narrows, and your decisions become reactive. Fear feeds doubt, and doubt corrodes action. It keeps blessings delayed because it signals to the universe that you do not believe. When you choose faith, you open yourself to the infinite. Your energy expands, your vision broadens, and your steps become bold. Faith feeds courage, and courage invites miracles. It signals to the universe that you are aligned with truth, and so opportunities, solutions, and resources begin to appear. Life will always present challenges, but the response you choose determines the outcome. Imagine standing at the edge of a storm. Fear says, "This storm will destroy me." Faith says, "This storm will pass, and I will be stronger for it." Fear looks at closed doors and says, "It is over." Faith looks at closed doors and says, "A greater door is opening." Fear tells you that you are alone and helpless. Faith reminds you that you are backed by infinite intelligence, guided by unseen hands, and protected by a power greater than any obstacle. Every breakthrough in history was born out of faith over fear. Great leaders, inventors, healers, and visionaries all faced uncertainty, resistance, and danger. If they had surrendered to fear, their gifts would have been buried, but by holding to faith, they brought forth light that changed the world. The same principle applies to you. Your dreams, your purpose, your destiny. None can unfold if you allow fear to rule, but the moment you choose faith, doors begin to open. Faith does not mean the absence of fear. It means refusing to let fear dictate your decisions. Fear may whisper, but faith speaks louder. Fear may appear strong, but faith carries authority. Each time you choose to act in faith, fear loses its grip. Each time you speak words of faith, you weaken the power of doubt. Each time you walk forward despite trembling, you grow stronger in courage until fear no longer has control. The battle is not outside you but within. It is the choice of which voice you will trust. If you lean into fear, you will live small, restrained by invisible chains. If you lean into faith, you will live expansive, guided by unseen strength. Fear limits, faith liberates. Fear diminishes, faith multiplies. Fear is darkness, faith is light. To choose faith over fear is to choose life, to step into your highest potential, and to walk in alignment with the divine power that has always been for you and never against you. Stop begging, start commanding, because you were never created to live as a beggar of life, but as a co-creator with it. Begging comes from a mindset of lack, a belief that what you desire is far from you and must be wrestled from the hands of fate. It places you in a position of weakness, as though you are pleading with a reluctant universe to grant you crumbs of blessing, but commanding comes from authority, from the recognition that the divine power already lives within you and flows through your words. To command is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is standing in the truth that what belongs to you in spirit cannot be denied to you in the material. When you beg, you reinforce the idea that you are powerless. You cry out for change while secretly affirming that you do not believe it will come. This vibration of desperation attracts more lack, more delay, more frustration. You repeat the same prayers, not out of faith, but out of fear that perhaps you have not been heard. Begging weakens the spirit and makes the problem appear larger than the solution. It binds you to the very condition you want to escape. Commanding, however, changes everything. To command is to speak with certainty, to declare with authority, to affirm with unshakable faith. It is saying, "I am healed," and not "Please heal me." It is saying, "I am provided for," and not "Please give me enough." It is saying, "Doors are opening now," and not "Please open a way for me." When you command, you are not asking life to favor you, you are activating the favor that already surrounds you. You are releasing the hidden power within by aligning your words with divine truth. Think of how a king speaks. A king does not beg for his throne to recognize him. He issues decrees, and those decrees shape reality within his kingdom. In the same way, your words are decrees in the kingdom of your life. When you speak them with authority, they go forth and organize circumstances, inspire ideas, and draw opportunities that bring your declaration into form. Life responds to the voice of certainty because certainty reflects faith, and faith is the language creation understands. Commanding does not mean demanding from a place of ego or selfish will. It is not about trying to control others or force outcomes. True commanding comes from surrender to divine order and the assurance that what you are affirming is already aligned with the greater good. It is not born of pride, but of trust. When you declare healing, you are agreeing with the divine blueprint of wholeness. When you declare abundance, you are aligning with the truth that provision is your birthright. When you declare peace, you are recognizing that peace is the natural state of the soul. In this way, commanding is simply affirming what already belongs to you in spirit until it manifests in the scene. The shift from begging to commanding is a shift from weakness to strength, from doubt to faith, from fear to truth. It is the difference between knocking on a locked door and realizing the key has been in your hand all along. The universe is not withholding blessings from you. It is waiting for you to speak them forth with confidence. As long as you beg, you affirm distance. As soon as you command, you affirm possession. And what you affirm with conviction must eventually appear. So stop approaching life as though you are empty, forgotten, or powerless. You are not. You carry the authority of spirit within you, and your words are the switch that turns that authority on. Lift your speech from pleas to proclamations, from cries to decrees. Speak life into your circumstances, not as one hoping to be heard, but as one who knows they are backed by infinite power. Stop begging, start commanding, and you will see the atmosphere of your life shift, for creation itself moves in response to the voice of authority spoken in faith. Alignment unlocks miracles because when your thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony with divine truth, you create a channel through which unlimited power flows freely. Most people struggle not because miracles are absent, but because they are misaligned. They think one thing, speak another, and act in contradiction to both. This inner division blocks the natural flow of blessings. But the moment you bring yourself into alignment, when what you believe, what you say, and what you do are consistent with the truth of abundance, health, peace, and victory, you create a magnetic force that draws miracles into your life with ease. Alignment is not about striving or forcing outcomes. It is about agreement with divine law. Just as a radio must be tuned to the correct frequency to pick up a signal, your inner state must be tuned to the vibration of faith to receive the results you desire. When your mind is filled with doubt but your mouth speaks affirmations, the signal is distorted. When your words declare abundance but your actions reflect fear, the signal is blocked. But when your heart believes, your lips affirm, and your steps demonstrate trust, you are perfectly tuned and miracles flow naturally without strain. Consider a river. When it flows smoothly within its banks, it carries water with ease, nourishing everything around it. But when debris clogs the path, the flow is hindered and the river loses its power. Alignment is the clearing of inner debris, the doubts, contradictions, and fears that clog the flow of divine power. Once cleared, the river of miracles moves without resistance, bringing life, restoration, and abundance wherever it goes. Alignment also requires surrender. It is not about insisting on your own way, but about trusting divine order. Misalignment often happens when you resist what is or try to force what is not yet ready. You may speak faith but secretly cling to fear, declaring trust while holding tight to control. Surrender is the release of struggle, the choice to trust that life is unfolding in perfect timing. When you let go of resistance and allow yourself to flow with truth, you align yourself with a higher plan and miracles begin to appear effortlessly. Miracles are not accidents. They are the natural expression of divine law when alignment is present. When you align with gratitude, you attract more to be grateful for. When you align with love, relationships heal and flourish. When you align with peace, chaos dissolves around you. When you align with abundance, opportunities and resources flow into your life. It is not the world outside that must shift first, but the alignment within. Once you are in harmony, the external world rearranges itself to reflect that state. Alignment is also a matter of integrity. You cannot speak faith in public while feeding fear in private. You cannot affirm prosperity while continually dwelling on lack. Integrity means wholeness, being undivided in thought, word, and action. The more whole you become, the more powerful your declarations are, because they are not contradicted by hidden disbelief. Integrity creates clarity, and clarity is power. To align is to live in remembrance of who you truly are, a spiritual being connected to infinite wisdom and supported by divine power. When you remember this truth and live accordingly, miracles cease to be rare exceptions and become everyday realities. Alignment is not about doing more, it is about being true to what already is. It is the removal of conflict, the embracing of faith, and the steady walk in truth. Once you are aligned, life flows, doors open, opportunities arise, and what once seemed impossible becomes natural, because alignment always unlocks miracles. Ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT.